I have wasted 4 years of my life on you. You're my biggest mistake, she sneered at our anniversary dinner. So I calmly left her with the check and disappeared. Now she's 32, broke, alone after toxic flings, desperately begging while I'm happily married to my dream girl. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. Hey Reddit, I never thought I'd be posting here, but 4 years after the fact, this story still gets brought up by mutual friends, and honestly, sharing it might help someone else spot the red flags I missed. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. This is about how my ex-girlfriend of 4 years nuked our relationship at our anniversary dinner, calling me her biggest mistake, and how I walked away without a word, only for life to serve her a hefty dose of reality while I rebuilt mine. Buckle up, it's a long one. I met Emily when I was 26, and she was 24. We were both fresh out of college, grinding away in entry-level jobs in a mid-sized city. I was working as a software developer for a stable tech firm. Nothing flashy, but it paid the bills and let me save for the future. Emily was in marketing, full of big dreams about climbing the corporate ladder or starting her own side hustle. From the start, I was all in. She had this infectious energy, always talking about adventures and living life to the fullest. I admired that about her, even if my idea of a good time was more low-key. Hiking on weekends, cooking at home, or binge-watching shows together. Looking back, I realize how much I invested in us. Early on, she lost her first job due to company layoffs, and I covered her rent for 3 months while she job hunted. No big deal. I had savings, and I wanted to support her. When she decided to get certified in digital marketing, I paid for the online courses because she was stressed about loans. I even turned down a promotion at work that would have required moving to another state. She said she wasn't ready to uproot her life, and I didn't want to pressure her. Instead, I stayed put, picked up freelance gigs on the side to make ends meet, and planned little surprises to keep things exciting. Like the time I saved up for a weekend getaway to a cabin in the mountains. She loved it, or at least she said she did. We had our ups and downs, sure. She could be impulsive, racking up credit card debt on clothes or nights out with friends, and I'd gently suggest budgeting. But I thought that's what partners do, balance each other out. By year 3, I was thinking long-term, saving for a ring, even. Our 4-year anniversary was coming up, and I wanted to make it special. I booked a table at this upscale Italian place downtown, the kind with white tablecloths and a wine list longer than my arm. It wasn't cheap, but hey, milestones matter. I showed up in a nice shirt, flowers in hand, excited to toast to us. Emily arrived about 15 minutes late, which wasn't unusual. She looked stunning in a new dress. I complimented her, and she gave a half smile, fiddling with her phone. We ordered appetizers, and I started reminiscing about how far we'd come. Remember that first date at the coffee shop? You spilled latte on your shirt, and I lent you my jacket. Feels like yesterday. She nodded absently, sipping her wine. That's when I noticed something was off. Her eyes kept darting away, and she seemed irritated. I asked if everything was okay. She set down her glass, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "Alex, we need to talk. This isn't working anymore." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean? Is it something I did?" She leaned back, crossing her arms with this smug expression, like she'd rehearsed this. "No, it's not just one thing. It's everything. I've been thinking a lot lately, and honestly, I have wasted 4 years of my life on you. You're my biggest mistake." The words hit like a punch. The restaurant noise faded. It was just her voice echoing in my head. I stared at her, trying to process. "Emily, what? Where is this coming from?" She rolled her eyes, like I was being dense. "Come on, Alex. You've always been so safe. Predictable. We met in our 20s, and I thought that's what I wanted. Stability, someone reliable. But being with you has ruined my 20s. I should have been out there, traveling, meeting exciting people, not stuck in this routine. You held me back." I felt my face heat up. The couple at the next table was pretending not to listen, but I could tell they were. "Held you back?" "I supported you through everything, your job losses, the courses, the trips with your friends while I worked overtime. I turned down opportunities for us." She laughed, a sharp, dismissive sound that made my skin crawl. "Exactly. That's the problem. You're always playing it safe, scrimping, and saving like some boring accountant. I deserve passion, adventure. Not this. She paused, then dropped the real bomb. And honestly, I've been seeing Jake from work for the last few months. You know, the guy from the sales team? He's fun, spontaneous. We went skydiving last weekend, something you'd never do. He gets me in a way you never did. Jake, the coworker she'd mentioned casually at parties, the one she'd been posting subtle stories about on social media. I'd seen the pics, her laughing at happy hours, captioned with crap like, finally feeling alive again, or memes about upgrading your life. I'd brushed it off as work stuff, but now it clicked. She'd been emotionally checking out for months, maybe longer, using me as a backup while she tested the waters. I opened my mouth to respond, but she kept going, her voice rising just enough to draw stares. Don't act surprised. I've been hinting for ages. You were just a stepping stone until I found better. I mean, look at us. I'm 28 now, and what do I have to show for it? A bunch of Netflix nights and a guy who thinks a hike is adventurous? Jake makes me feel young again. I should have ended this sooner, but I felt sorry for you. Felt sorry for me. After everything I'd given up, that was her take. The waiter hovered awkwardly with our entrees, but I couldn't even look at the food. My mind raced. Confusion, hurt, anger bubbling up. But something inside me snapped into focus. I wasn't going to beg or yell. Not here, not ever. She wanted out? Fine. I stood up mid-sentence as she was still ranting about how settling for me had stolen her prime years. Grabbed my jacket, left the flowers on the table. Okay, I said calmly, my voice steady even though my heart was pounding. She blinked, caught off guard. Okay, that's all you have to say? After 4 years. I didn't respond, just turned and walked out, past the staring diners, into the cool night air. Behind me, I heard her call out, "Wait, Alex. You're seriously leaving me with the check? Fine, go ahead. Prove how petty you are." The bill was over $200, including the wine she'd insisted on. I didn't look back. By the time I got to my car, I'd blocked her number, socials, everything. That was it. No dramatic confrontation, no pleading texts. Just gone. For the next few days, I crashed on a buddy's couch while I packed up our shared apartment. She didn't come home that night, probably with Jake. I took only my stuff, left the keys on the counter, and forwarded the lease to her name. Then I called my boss about that promotion I'd turned down before, the one in a bigger city 2 hours away. It was still open, and I took it. New start, new life. But man, those first weeks were rough. I'd lie awake replaying her words. Biggest mistake. Ruined my 20s. It stung, the unfairness of it all. I'd given so much, and she twisted it into me being the villain. Why hadn't I seen the signs? The late nights at work, the constant comparisons to her friends' exciting boyfriends. I felt like a fool, discarded like yesterday's trash. But I didn't lash out. No revenge posts, no bad-mouthing to mutuals. I hit the gym, started therapy, focused on work. It was quiet, lonely work, sitting with the betrayal, the confusion. Days turned to weeks, and slowly, the fog lifted. I realized she hadn't ruined anything. She'd freed me from a one-sided relationship. And as rumors trickled in from old friends, I started hearing about her new chapter. Those first months in the new city were a grind. I threw myself into the job, long hours coding, leading a small team on app development projects. It was a step up, better pay, more responsibility, and no one knew my backstory. No pitying looks from friends asking, "How are you holding up?" I rented a small apartment downtown, nothing fancy, but it was mine. Gym became my ritual. Waits in the morning to shake off the nightmares where I'd replay that dinner, her laugh echoing. Therapy helped too. My counselor had me journal the unfairness, as she called it. Why did I feel like the bad guy for being loyal? Why did her words, biggest mistake, ruin my 20s, loop in my head like a bad code error? I didn't stalk Emily online. I'd blocked her everywhere. But mutual friends, well, people talk. At first, it was casual updates in group chats or over beers when old buddies visited. "Dude, Emily's living it up," one said about a month after the split. She'd moved in with Jake pretty quick, posted pics of them at concerts, weekend getaways to the beach. Making up for lost time, her captions read, with emojis that screamed forced happiness. I nodded, changed the subject. Inside, it burned. She'd accused me of holding her back, but here she was, chasing adventure on what I suspected was maxed out credit cards. As weeks turned to months, the shine wore off. Jake, turns out, wasn't the knight she painted. Friends whispered he was flaky, bouncing between sales jobs, always between gigs. They'd argue publicly. One mutual saw them at a bar where he yelled at her over nothing, calling her high maintenance. By month 3, it imploded. He ghosted her after a big fight, left her with half the rent on their new place. She posted cryptic stories about learning from toxic people, but word got around. He'd been seeing someone else on the side. Karma's first jab. Emily didn't slow down, though. She dove headfirst into reclaiming her youth, as she called it in a ranting Facebook post that someone screenshot and sent me. I asked them to stop, but curiosity won sometimes. Next was a DJ named Max, tattooed, party-hopping type she met at a club. He promised endless nights and took her on a spontaneous road trip. Sounded exciting, right? Until the stories trickled in. Max was unstable, crashing on friends' couches, dragging her into all-night raves that left her hungover for work. She lost her marketing job after calling in sick too often. She's spiraling, a friend texted. Posted about living free, but she looks exhausted. I sat with that info in silence. No schadenfreude, just a quiet acknowledgement of the unfairness. I'd been the boring one, yet here I was, steady, while her passion led to chaos. Months blurred. I dated casually, but nothing stuck. Therapy dug deeper. I realized I'd sacrificed too much for her. My career stall, the skipped vacations to fund her whims. Flashback to year 2 of us. She'd wanted to backpack Europe, but couldn't afford it alone. I worked extra shifts, sent her with a friend. She came back glowing, but never thanked me properly. You wouldn't have enjoyed it anyway, she'd said. Now, in my new life, I took my first solo trip, a hike in the national park nearby. Felt liberating, no one to impress. By year 1 post-breakup, Emily's adventures escalated. After Max dumped her, he moved to another city for a gig, leaving her with his bar tabs. She hooked up with an entrepreneur type, Derek. Smooth talker, promised to fund her side hustle ideas. They jetted to Vegas, Miami, Instagram gold. But friends dished. Derek was manipulative, controlling her socials, isolating her from her crew. He'd mock her in front of people, one said. Called her naive for thinking she could succeed without him. It ended ugly. He ghosted after she invested in his startup scam, draining her savings. She was broke, crashing with her sister, posting pleas for freelance gigs. The emotional weight hit me hardest around the holidays. I'd scroll old photos, the ones I hadn't deleted, wondering if I'd ever trust again. Confusion lingered. How could someone rewrite our history so cruelly? But I didn't reach out. Dignity meant detachment. Rumors kept coming. At 29, Emily tried one more fling. An ex-con named Rico she'd met through a dating app. Bad boy vibe, she bragged to a mutual. He was charming at first, but abusive, verbal jabs turning physical, per whispers. She ended up in the ER after a fall, though no one bought it. Friends pulled away, her online rants about ungrateful exes subtly shading me. Backfired when someone leaked our anniversary story. Mutuals sided with me. She did you dirty, man. By year 2, she was unraveling. Isolated, in debt, jumping dead-end jobs. At 30, a health scare, stress-induced panic attacks, from what I heard. Her ruined 20s became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Me? I was rising. Landed another promotion, bought a condo. The silence of those middle years built my resolve. Her betrayal wasn't my fault. It was her loss. It started small, about 6 months after the breakup. A text from an unknown number. Hey Alex, it's Emily. Been thinking about us. Miss our talks? Coffee sometime. I stared at the screen, heart racing for a second. Old habits. But no. Deleted, blocked the number. Figured that was it. A month later, an email. Alex, I know you're mad, but hear me out. Jake was a mistake, total jerk. I was confused, lashing out. We had good times, right? Let's meet and talk. I regret how I ended things. Attached was a photo of us from better days, like that would sway me. I archived it, no reply. Her attempts ramped up. Voicemails next. Pick up, Alex. It's been months. You owe me closure after 4 years. How can you just ghost like this? By year 1, she got creative. Showed up at my old workplace. Luckily, I'd moved cities, but she cornered a former colleague for my new address. Then, the unannounced visit, knocking on my apartment door one evening. I peeked through the peephole, saw her looking disheveled, makeup smudged. Didn't open it. She yelled through the door. "Alex, I know you're in there. Open up. I drove 2 hours for this. After everything, you won't even talk? Fine. Be that way. You're proving why I left." So petty. I stayed silent, called building security to escort her out. That pissed her off. Next came the angry text from a new number. "You're heartless. I made one mistake, and you throw it all away? Jake, Max, they were nothing. You were real. But whatever, rot in your boring life." Hypocrisy at its finest. She'd called me her biggest mistake, but now I was the villain for moving on. She roped in her family next. Her sister, always smug and enabling, called me at work. "Alex, this is Lisa. Emily's a mess because of you. She cries every night. Says you broke her heart by walking out like that. Man up and forgive her. Family's about second chances. You're being ungrateful after all she put up with." Put up with? I nearly laughed. "Lisa, respectfully, this isn't your business. Don't call again." Blocked. Her mom emailed a week later. "Dear Alex, Emily's told me everything. She's sorry, truly. Life's too short for grudges. Come to dinner, we can talk it out as a family." Toxic as ever. They'd always babied her, excusing her impulses. I replied once, politely, "No thank you. Please stop contacting me." But Emily persisted. By year 2, after Derek dumped her, the pleas turned desperate. A late-night call. "Alex, please. I'm alone. Broke. That startup thing wiped me out. Remember how you always fix things? I need you. I was wrong. You didn't ruin my 20s. I did. Take me back." I listened to the voicemail, noted the slur in her voice, probably after a rough night. No sympathy stirred. She'd shown her colors. Attempts escalated to anger again. "Ignore this too? You're pathetic. I deserve better anyway." Then, showing up at a mutuals party I skipped, grilling people for info on me. Friends warned me. "She's unraveling, man." Talking smack, but it's sad. The desperation peaked around year 3. After Rico, she hit rock bottom, isolated, in therapy, per rumors, facing eviction. A final email. "Alex, I see now what I lost. You're thriving. I'm not. Please, one conversation. I beg you." I didn't respond. She'd become a ghost in my life, irrelevant. For years after that disastrous dinner, life had flipped. I'd met Sophia 6 months post-breakup, a colleague in my new office, smart, kind, with a laugh that lit up rooms. We bonded over shared hikes. Turns out, I do love adventure, just not the reckless kind. She valued stability, not as boring, but as a foundation. We dated intentionally, no games. Engaged after a year, married in a small ceremony by the lake. Now, at 32, we were expecting our first kid. Career booming. I'd started a side consultancy. Happiness felt earned, not forced. The final encounter? At a mutual friend's wedding, year 4. I hadn't seen Emily since the door incident, avoided events where she might be. But there she was, at the reception, looking older than 32. Hollow eyes, forced smile. Our eyes met across the room. She beelined over during cocktail hour, cornering me by the bar while Sophia chatted nearby. "Alex," she said, voice shaky. "You look good. Happy. Congrats on the marriage, I saw on Facebook." I nodded politely, sipping my drink. "Thanks." She fidgeted, glancing at my ring. "Listen, I need to say this. I was an idiot. Calling you my biggest mistake? That was me projecting. Jake, the others, they destroyed me. Abusive liars. I'm alone now, scraping by at a retail job. Seeing you here, with her, I realize what I threw away. Please, can we try again? Or at least be friends? I miss you." Her words hung there, desperate. I saw the reversal. Me, thriving with my dream girl. Her, desperate after her adventures, left her empty. But no gloating. I set down my glass, met her eyes calmly. "Emily, that chapter closed the night I walked out. You made your choices. I made mine. I've built a life where you're just a lesson, about valuing myself, not settling for less. Sophia and I are solid. Our family's my focus now. You're irrelevant to that. Take care. She blinked, tears welling. But, after everything? You don't even care how I'm doing. I don't. I said firmly, no edge, just fact. Goodbye. I turned, joined Sophia on the dance floor. Emily stood there a moment, then slipped away. Mutuals later said she left early, alone. Me? I danced with my wife, the past finally powerless. Reddit, if you're the loyal one getting discarded, walk away with dignity. Life upgrades when you do. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.